Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another monthly TBR video. If you are new here, hi, my name is Claire and today I'm going to be mentioning 5 books only because I'm a slow reader and I like to pace myself properly, and I also like to make room for books that I could be able to add on after the 5 initial books that I put on this TBR. So it's short, it's sweet, and that's how I like it. So without further ado, here are the books that I'm hoping to read in the month of May. It's May. Mind blown, I just can't, like, what is life? So the first book that I'm going to put on my TBR for May is Undone by Karen Salter. This is the... let me think about this. I think this is the 3rd book in the Will Trent series. I'm pretty sure I've read the first 2. I think this is the 3rd one. I started this series at the beginning of the year and I just haven't carried on with it yet. I added this book to a previous TBR and I didn't get around to it. I just really wasn't in the mood when I got round to trying to read it, so I read the first line and was like, hell no, getting the heck out of here before I ruin it, and you know, I dislike it because I'm not in the mood. And so I've left it for now because I'm in a huge thriller mood right now. I'm in my thriller girly era and I'm here for it. And honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I'm watching Criminal Minds right now and it's really got me in the mood to read about these characters again, because Will Trent is someone that I would protect with my whole entire life. Honestly, he's so precious. He reminds me of Spencer Reid. He's just precious, okay? You need to believe me on this. So without going into too much detail, because obviously this is a series, the series follows the same kind of set of characters every single book. The main character being Will Trent, who is a detective, and each book is a different case. Now, what I will say about Karen Salter's books is that they are very gory, they are very dark, and they are very detailed. So if that's not your kind of thing, Karen Salter is not for you. However, if you love thrillers, if you love crime, I will shove Karen Salter down your throat because she is incredible. Now, you don't necessarily have to read the Grant County series. However, if you haven't read the Will Trent series, I would recommend maybe reading the Grant County series, because I feel like some of those characters do show up in this series and it's just nice to have that introduction to them. But what I will say is the characters in Will Trent are a lot more likeable. I feel like in Grant County they are very I don't want to say they're unlikable, but they're very 50-50, and there are times when you literally aren't rooting for them, but it's still a really great series and it's a great introduction into kind of like the series side of Karen Salter. However, if you've never read any Karen Salter before, I absolutely say start with Pretty Girls. It's a standalone, it's incredible, and if you like that, you'll definitely like her other books. But yeah, this is basically a series about a bunch of police detectives, one being Will Trent, and they solve all of these crazy cases, and I'm just very excited to carry on with this because I feel like there could be a romance budding between 2 characters. One of them hasn't been introduced yet, but I just know it's going to happen and it's going to make my heart so freaking happy when it happens. So I need to carry on with this series because it's just everything. So the next book that I want to read in May, I'm going to need everyone to form a prayer circle for me. So obviously Taylor Swift came out with her new album last month, which I have been loving. It also made me go from espresso to depresso. If you guys listen to 2 specific musicians, you'll know what I'm on about by saying that. But because the Tortured Poets department put me in such a sad mood, I was like, I want to be in my sad girl era. I want to make myself depressed even more. So I'm going to read A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Everyone form the prayer circle now because I'm going to need it. Everyone says that this is the saddest book they've ever read, which terrifies me because I'm very easy to make cry when I'm reading. I'm an emotional person, okay? I'm not a crier in general, but like books really get me sometimes, and if this is anything like Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow, there's no hope for me. There's absolutely no hope for me. The only thing that I know about this book is that it follows 4 college friends who move from I think a small town in Massachusetts, and they all go to New York for college. And I think it follows their lives and their friendships as they grow up throughout the years. And as far as I know, their whole friendship revolves around this one guy named Jude, who I think hits a little bit of a rock in his life and things go wrong and whatever, like he has a very tough life. I just know this is a bad idea. I am gonna have Taylor Swift's album on repeat while reading this. I am gonna do a reading vlog just for this one book because I'm very interested to see how I'll react to it. I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrified. I'm absolutely terrified. Not just because everyone says that this is a really emotional book, but also because of the fact that it's nearly 800 pages long. Why? That's so unnecessary. I guess we'll find out. Because I don't want to hit a deep, dark pit of despair after reading A Little Life, I have decided to give myself a little mushy-gushy fun romance. So I'm going to read Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. This is the second book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. This book, I believe, follows... oh, I think he's the younger brother. Pretty sure he's the younger brother. Maybe he's the older one. I'm pretty sure he's the younger one. In the first book, he has kind of like this side story going on. You can kind of see where his plot is going and how it's going to evolve. As far as I can remember, the younger brother wants to do up this property that they have on the ranch. It hasn't been used for anything, and so I believe he wants to turn it into like some kind of guest house, and so he hires this woman who is going to be like the interior designer, and you know, she's going to like organise everything. So I'm going to guess that the romance goes on between them two. I've just briefly read a couple of the things in the blurb. I don't really want to spoil myself much on it, but it is going to be following those two characters. It is going to be going along those lines. I'm very excited. I need this palette cleanser. I can't even think about doing A Little Life without having a romance straight afterwards, because I do think this would send me into a spiral. So yeah, your girl needs a little bit of sunshine happiness because summer is approaching, hopefully. And I need something light and mushy. So the next book that I want to read in May, I was actually going to save it for the end of the year because this definitely gives spooky vibes, but that is Ace of Spades by Farida Abike Imide. This is a YA, I believe, mystery thriller. I don't think that there's any paranormal stuff going on in this one. So this essentially follows two characters who are attending this very elite private school, and at some point someone anonymous named Aces ends up sending texts around the school that basically put to light these dark secrets that these two students have. One student named Devon has their private photos go public, and the second student, who is the head girl of the school, named Chimaka, she ends up having her secrets spilled over text, and everyone will know the price that she's paid to be in her powerful position. The book, as far as I know, takes a dive into the heart of institutionalized racism, and I'm just very, very excited to read this one. It's been on my radar for an incredibly long time, and I've just put it off for ages. The US cover, perfection. They missed the mark with the UK one, I think. It's okay, but the US one is just way nicer. I'm very, very excited to read this. I always love a book that takes place in a private school. I just think they're so interesting, like the dynamics and just the world in general is just so interesting because the people that attend those places are so very different. I mean, I don't know what it's like in other countries, but in the UK, the people that go to private schools live an incredibly different life, and they just have incredibly different upbringings to what we do, and they think way differently. So very interested to deep dive into this one. I definitely thought I would have gone fantasy again, but for some reason my eye just kept going towards this book, and so I'm gonna read this month. I fancy it. I'm in the mood. So then the last book that I want to read in May is Butter by Asako Yuzuki. This is a translated work. I believe she is a Japanese author. I have been seeing this all over my TikTok, but not in like a bad, this book is popular on Booktok way. I've only ever seen this promoted by UK booktokers, but also advertised to me as an actual advert on like TikTok. The cover is extremely interesting, and there is one line on the back of the blurb that just honestly made me want to read this. And that quote is, "There are two things that I can simply not tolerate, feminists and margarine." I believe that this is another kind of like mystery thriller type book. So it essentially follows a female gourmet cook and a serial killer, and the journalist intent on cracking her case, and apparently it's inspired by a true story. I'm gonna have to search this up because I genuinely want to know. I mean, if they put that in the tagline, then surely there is a true story out there that this is inspired by. But essentially there is this gourmet cook who was convicted of the serial murders of like all of these businessmen, and she just hasn't spoken since until this one journalist ends up writing to her to ask her for this recipe for like a beef stew or something. I don't know. I saw the cover intrigued me, then I heard the plot and that intrigued me even more. It's like a really fun, I don't want to say fun, I feel like fun is the wrong word. I feel like this is going to be maybe hopefully a better version of The Silent Patient. I just feel in my bones like I'm going to enjoy this way more, and I always love reading a translated work because I love reading books set in a different country to the one that I live in, especially like one that doesn't take place in the Western world, because I just like seeing other cultures and I like imagining other cities and worlds in my head. So I'm very excited for this one. I literally cannot wait. I do believe that this is a 2024 release. Oh no, it says first published in 2017. So I don't know why it's being promoted to me now. Maybe it's only just been translated? I'm not sure. But either way, I'm very excited to read this one. If you read it, let me know in the comments. So those are the 5 books that I'm hoping to read in the month of May. If you read any of the books that I mentioned, then please leave a comment below. Obviously keep it spoiler free of what you thought of them. If not, leave me a comment below telling me what you're planning to read in the month of May. If you enjoyed this video, then please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content from me, then don't forget to subscribe. And I will see you in the next video. So bye guys.